In today's breaking story, Congress has just left Donald Trump stunned with a surprise Epstein bomb. That's right, this Epstein scandal is really just beginning for Donald Trump. How's it going, everybody? Hunter Avalon here with Occupy Democrats. Welcome back to another video. Now, Donald Trump is an absolute disaster, and he has no regard for the law whatsoever.
I'm just one representative of the hundreds of police officers that were assaulted that day by Donald Trump's supporters, inspired by his lies. The lies that continue to this day to inspire my fellow Americans to turn against their fellow Americans, to turn against police officers. At the end of the day, this election is about Donald Trump and his vision for the office of the President of the United States. Not as a public servant who answers to the people who elected him, but as an authoritarian who answers to and serves only himself. Thank you.
And it's not just Fox News or even Trump voters. Americans as a whole are rejecting Donald Trump.
So it's known as job hugging, which, like you said, sounds good, but it's basically the fact that more and more workers are holding on to their jobs for dear life because they're worried that they're going to lose their job and they're less confident that they'll be able to get a new one. So look at this chart that shows job-to-job change rate. And what you saw after 2020, after COVID, there was this skyrocketing where people were job hopping. They felt increasingly confident they could get a better job with a bigger paycheck, and they were willing to try that out. That was the Great Resignation, but that has come down very significantly. And the other thing that has come down is paychecks for people who do change jobs. So back in 2019, before COVID, a 10% increase on average for people who were job hopping. That skyrocketed to 20% plus during the Great Resignation. But look at this, it's come down to just 7% now, below the pre-COVID average.
So that's like the whole story right there, right?
It is. Yeah. In fact, some of the government data actually shows that the people who are changing jobs, their pay increases on average, it's the same as the people who are changing jobs. And
people who are staying in their jobs is the same as people changing jobs. Got it.
Exactly, right. The pay increase. And where is this happening in terms of job hugging? Where has it slowed down in terms of people changing? Bank of America said it's happening mostly in jobs where people get paid once a month. This tends to be white-collar jobs, often in finance, in tech, also.
And now Congress has just stunned Donald Trump with a surprise Epstein bomb. That's right. There's very good reason for Americans to reject Donald Trump. Take a look at today's top story. Congress just dropped a bombshell on President Trump. In a rare bipartisan push, Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna and Republican Congressman Thomas Massie are teaming up to demand that the Justice Department release long-hidden files in the Jeffrey Epstein case. At a press conference this week, they'll appear alongside 10 Epstein victims who have stayed silent for decades. Khanna warns people are going to be outraged, predicting Americans will sympathize with the victims and demand transparency. The move directly challenges the White House. Trump has dismissed the Epstein case as a Democratic hoax, angering even his own MAGA supporters who expected real revelations. Now Congress is preparing to force a vote, with support from both parties, including Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. If the bill passes, the Justice Department will have no choice but to hand over Epstein's files, potentially exposing powerful figures and rocking Washington to its core. This isn't just about Trump's denial, it's about whether Congress will finally reveal the truth behind Epstein's network of rich and powerful abusers.
With us now is Congressman Pete Sessions, a Republican from Texas who is on the House Oversight Committee. Congressman, always great to speak with you. And the House Oversight Committee today, we understand, will meet with some victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. What can you tell us about these meetings and what do you hope to learn?
Well, what we're hoping to learn is the information which they would give us. We believe that we have now a good bit of information that has come to us via the Department of Justice, And yet there has to be some way to look at that and then to ask further questions. The information that has come in is not bland, it just does not give full context. And so it's that full context that the committee is looking for.
Interesting. A good bit of information you're calling because you've had a chance to go through some of it right now, but it doesn't give the full context. Congressman Massey and Ro Khanna, bipartisan pairing right there, continue to push for this discharge petition, which would call on the Justice Department to release even more. I spoke to the House Speaker last week, who seemed to suggest he didn't think it was necessary. How do you feel about that?
The need for us to move through the document is what we're attempting to do. John, last time we spoke, I indicated that it would take us quite some time, but it was a bipartisan attempt. It is not just the committee, it's not just Republicans wishing for this. It is a bipartisan attempt, and I think we will get much more. We will see things. I'm sure we will have some disagreements, but that information of this information, they will give both sides context about what we're trying to look at and see.
Thanks so much for watching. Please click that like button and subscribe to Occupy Democrats so that you can stay informed and help us stop Donald Trump.